Hello, and welcome to episode 1 of Footballers You Don't Know But You Really Should. This week we're going to cover Jimmy Johnstone, a true Celtic legend. When Jimmy was just a boy, he would play with his older brother Pat. Pat was a fine player himself, but unfortunately suffered an injury playing for his local team, and this would end his chance of making it as a professional footballer. Jimmy would later speak about how he could still remember the disappointment on his father's face when Pat suffered that injury, and perhaps subconsciously this drove Jimmy on to achieve what he did in the game. Jimmy would make 515 appearances for Celtic and score 129 goals. Jockstein's arrival in 1965 would be the catalyst for Jimmy and Celtic to go on and achieve greatness. Although initially unfavoured by Stein, he would be integral in Celtic winning 9 consecutive league titles between 1965 and 1974, with Jimmy and Jock Stein key to that success. Their greatest success would come in 1967, with Celtic facing off against Internazionale in the European Cup final. Inter were heavy favourites for this game, having won the competition in 1964 and 1965. Celtic would go a goal down with Sandro Mazzola scoring from the penalty spot after just 7 minutes. However, Celtic rallied after half-time and Tommy Gemmell scored with a powerful 25-yard effort. And then in the 84th minute, Stevie Chalmers diverted a Bobby Murdoch effort into the net and complete a famous comeback and hand Celtic the European Cup, thus becoming the first British side to ever win the competition. Although not directly involved in either of the Celtic goals that day, Jimmy terrorised and confused the Inter defence with his superb dribbling skills and played a key role in Celtic's victory that day. Celtic would later return for another European Cup final in 1970, this time facing Feyenoord. Again, like in 67, it would be a 2-1 scoreline. However, this time Celtic would be on the losing side, with Feyenoord manager Ernst Happel ensuring Jimmy was double marked all times. Despite Celtic taking a 1-0 lead, they would eventually lose to the Dutch team. Jimmy's Celtic career would end in 1975, pushing Stein's buttons too far, and he would leave on a free transfer. Jimmy was devastated and left the meeting in floods of tears, and he was inconsolable from his fellow players. He would later play for a number of clubs, including San Jose Earthquakes and Sheffield United, but he would never quite recapture his previous form after losing motivation to play for any other club after leaving Celtic. Jimmy would eventually retire in 1978. Jimmy got 23 caps for Scotland and scored on 4 occasions. His most notable performances for Celtic were both against England, including scoring twice in a 4-3 defeat and also playing exceptionally just before the 74 World Cup against England in a 2-0 victory. However, for Jimmy, he will always be remembered for his achievements playing for Celtic. Jimmy was voted Celtic's greatest ever player in 2002, ahead of players such as Kenny Dalglish and Henrik Larsson. Sadly, in 2006, he would die aged 61 after battling motor neuron disease. A statue of Jimmy is now outside Celtic Park, put up in 2011 to commemorate a true Celtic legend. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If you think I can improve on anything, please leave it in the comments below. And if you have any recommendations on who would you like to see next, please tell me so I can do it in a future video. Thank you. Goodbye.